welcome to the Lowland League Catchup. It's myself, RampantFM, and I'm joined by Mozza. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, how's you?
Yeah, pretty good. And Shaun Spedden, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Glad to be back.
Brilliant. We'll start with Tuesday's fixture. It was a great result for University of Stirling. They beat Spartans 4-2. Excellent build-up from Uni, culminates in a deliciously weighted cross from Callum Downey on the left, which Craig Brown heads into the bottom corner to give them the lead after 24 minutes. Spartans did get the equaliser. It's a low, unstoppable drive by Jamie Dishon that is out of the reach of Walker and into the bottom corner, all square, before half time. Great work from Miguel to win the ball in midfield and feed Blair Lyons, who is brought down just outside the box. Excellent Slattery free kick, beats the keeper, and the Uni are back in front 2-1. There was a few penalty shouts that I noticed that Uni had sort of in the first half, but there was a penalty shout for Spartans around the 50th minute, but the referee was having none of it apparently. 63 minutes, it's Jamie Dishington. Jamie Dishington weaves it in and outside, partly saved by Walker, but he can't prevent it from trickling into the net, so 2-2. 66 minutes, Stirling Uni take the lead again. Free kick from a central position is struck by Slattery and it wrong foots the keeper. And 79th minute, fantastic strike from Matty Burrows from the left, gives the keeper no chance. What a win from Stirling Uni. Spartans did have Mikey Herd sent off towards the end as well for a second yellow. We do have the thoughts on the fantastic win for Stirling Uni gaffer Geddes.
Chris, what a night at Fourth Bank. Talk us through.
First off, delighted to get the win after such a big performance on Saturday, and to come away with nothing. To get 3 points tonight against last year's champions is excellent, and I'm really delighted.
Fantastic opening goal.
Yep, we've obviously got the ball on the right, and we've worked it really well from right to left, out to Callum on the left, and he's whipped a great ball in, and Craig making that number 10 late run into the box, and he puts it away with the head. Great first goal, and then obviously we get to see our second one's just as good. Good work. They've filled us on the edge, and Dom's whipped a free kick right over the wall into the top corner. So to go like that is great. And obviously Spartans scored in between that, but they were very dangerous as well.
There was a real ebb and flow to the game. It was end to end stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, both teams. Do you know what I mean? They both teams can keep the ball. Spartans can keep the ball very well, but they want to go forward as well. Do you know what I mean? They played three. They played their striker. They had Blair Atkinson on the left, very quick, very good player, and they like to go forward as well. And so it made for a good game for the people who came.
And then Dom Slattery back in amongst the goals again for the third.
Yeah, I think Dom's on he's on 7 or 8 goals now this season. Actually, I think so. Yeah, the third one he's whipped it round the wall again, and. We'll see. I'm sure there's footage of it, maybe a bobble over the goalie, but listen, the way we've played and the amount of opportunities we create in games, we deserve something like that. So to get that, and then obviously the fourth goal from Matty Burrows, who we should have got him out here to talk, but he probably wouldn't want to. Deep corner to the back post, Matty's took a touch and he's whipped it in, but whether it takes a deflection or not, it doesn't bother him. Do you know what I mean? It's a goal, so 4-2.
And a more healthy look to the league table tonight.
Yeah, I think that moves us up a couple of spots, and obviously with 2 teams around us to finish, and then the cup, it gives us a chance to give some guys a game. It gives us a chance to give some boys who we're looking at for next season from the second team or the under-20s a game, and we can do it with a relaxed mindset that we know we can't be caught from the teams below, which is excellent. But thoroughly deserved win, and really happy to beat the champs, last year's champs 4-2.
Well, it was great entertainment. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, David.
So that's the thoughts of Chris Geddes on the fantastic win with David Chandler there. What can really be said? I think it was much well deserved from University of Stirling. I think they needed that, considering they've kind of struggled a wee bit this season in terms of seeing out wins, but what a fantastic effort from the boys.
I mean, we all saw it coming, didn't we? Totally predicted this result in the last podcast. But no, fair play. I don't think anyone, never mind us, I don't think anyone predicted Uni to go and win this. So, absolutely fantastic result. And Chris will be delighted to see 4 goals, because it's more often than not been a story of they've not been able to put the ball in the back of the net from their chances. Obviously, Dom Slattery stepping up with 2 free kicks. is the other thing that jumps out from the game itself. So obviously he's had a cracking night from the dead ball situations, but it's we've said before, this is the end of the season, you're going to get a few eye-opening results now that there's less to play for. But I can't really take any credit away for Uni, because from all reports they just played a blinder and they absolutely deserved all 3 points.
No, absolutely, and all credit to Stirling Uni. I think what you said there about the penalty shouts, Chris, I think Stirling Uni are probably grateful that they didn't get those penalties, because they've not had great form with those this year. So their heads might have gone down a little bit, so that might have actually helped them a little bit. And I agree with what you're saying, Mozza, about not a lot to play for at this point in the season, but Spartans, they're pushing for this 4th spot. This is really a game I think they'll have been really frustrated that they've not put it to bed a bit earlier, because it's really close up there between 4th and 5th place even at this point in the season, and these are the kind of games that they need to be winning.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we'll move on to Wednesday's game at Vale of Leven versus BSC Glasgow. Chance for BSC Glasgow to bounce back from their defeat at the weekend. 12 minutes in, a great start from BSC. Skipper Ross McMillan puts the away side ahead thanks to a brilliant header after a brilliant cross by Ewan O'Reilly. 60 minutes in, Tam Moore put a low cross in for Thomas Collins to find BSC's second. 6 minutes later, BSC find their third. Ewan O'Reilly does a fantastic job keeping the ball and picks a great pass to Collins, who curls his second and the third for BSC. Declan Hughes came off the bench and played a gorgeous ball before the end there, but BSC just coming back to basically get a fantastic win, and Ewan O'Reilly seems to have done a job for them since coming to BSC, and obviously Thomas Collins as well. A great win on Wednesday, a great comeback win after the disappointment of the weekend, Mozza.
Yeah, Thomas Collins already looks like a cracking signing. Looking ahead to next season, he's settled in instantly and he's got himself on the score sheet multiple occasions now. But I do need to give a shout out to Ewan O'Reilly actually, because it's probably harder for guys that arrive in on loan later on in a campaign when you've already got an established squad and they're kind of getting to know each other and all that kind of thing. But he's absolutely pulling his weight. He's deserving his starts and he's doing his thing. And he's obviously picked up straight off the ground with Collins. The two of them have got a wee bit of understanding there, but it's kind of what we predicted this one. Unlike the other game that BSC obviously a wee bit rusty, dropped a bit of a shock kind of defeat at the weekend. You expected them to bounce back, and I think it kind of played out the way we thought it would.
No, yeah. Absolutely, and you got to remember Vale were playing at home and they were coming off a really big win at the weekend. So for BSC to go out and win 3-0 is an outstanding result, and I think we need to give a bit of credit to Swifty, because we've talked a lot this year about Stuart Malcolm and Gary Jardine and the work that they've done, and we've not really spoke too much, I don't think, about Swifty. He's done an incredible job. We all thought BSC would do well this season, but that's second place. That's an outstanding result for them.
Yeah, especially after the start as well with all the injuries early on in the season. He did fantastically well to keep the ships steady. But the other thing, it might have been a wee bit harsh on Vale there, because it wasn't actually at Innerleithen. They were playing at Pennypick because it was a midweek game, bear in mind. So they've kind of lost their home advantage there, and that might have made it a wee bit tougher, in all honesty.
Well, as we're talking about it, we'll get into Saturday's game and we'll just skip to East Kilbride, BSC Glasgow. East Kilbride, obviously it was trophy day for them, the last home game. 29 minutes in, it was a goal for Kilby. Malcolm wins East Kilbride a free kick on the edge of the box. Chris Humphrey steps up and smashes the ball home. Right at the end of the game, in the middle, and Jamie McCormack smashes home the header. A few minutes later, Tam Orr has the ball, gives it up to Jamie Mills, who we've talked about often on this podcast, Mozza, smashes it home to make it 2-1. Fantastic effort from BSC there to beat East Kilbride, and obviously their home record's out the window now too. So we talked about how good Swifty's been, 19 matches unbeaten. I think that equals I'm not sure if that's the all-time record. I think East Stirlingshire last season or the season before had 19 games as well. What an effort from BSC this season, I would say, and well-deserved second place from them. Yeah, fantastic effort from Swifty, has to be congratulated on, and the boys as well. Fantastic season overall.
I suspect, in terms of the record, that Kilby probably hold it, having had their kind of record unbeaten run that Ajax got involved in on the act as well. But
yeah,
Kilby essentially didn't really have much to play for, and they might have switched off towards the end. But having said that, talk about never say die.
Yep.
2 goals in injury time to take it, and there's a bit of a theme with the games that have happened this week. There's a lot of set pieces getting converted. I've noticed, because again here you had a free kick for Kilby, you had a corner put in for BSC, and wonder of wonders, you had Jamie Mills getting his name on the score sheet, so fair play to him. I know he gets a bit of stick in that side of things. He's great at getting up and down the wing and putting crosses in, but in terms of putting the ball in the net himself, it's quite a rare feat, so he's managed it in the end. But I think you're right, Shaun, that Swifty deserves a huge amount of credit for what he's done over the last couple of years with that squad, reshaping it, kind of working through injuries. It's the consistency's down to him ultimately, and the way he puts the boys out in the park. And obviously there's some good players in there. It'd be amiss of me not to say that the squad BSC have got is one of the best in the league. I think that's beyond doubt, but you've still got to get everything working in song and working in tandem, and they've done it this season. And Swifties, I think it's a matter of time, to be honest, before he gets an SPFL offer.
Yep, I noticed obviously he's now been at BSC 2 years, and he's done just a fantastic job overall there. And yeah, I think he's signed up for next season as well. But
yeah,
we know things can change. But certainly, given the chance, I think BSC will go out and challenge again next season. But obviously, it's going to be a different league next season a wee bit as well. It's going to be, I think everyone knows it's going to be more quality coming into squads. Teams are going more than 2 or 3 teams are going to be challenged, I would say.
Yeah, next season's definitely going to be an interesting one, and I think BSC will still be up there, but they're going to have some with the likes of teams both coming up from East of Scotland and also potentially coming down from League 2. It's going to be a tough league, and then there's obviously Kelty there, East Stirlingshire, who have both said that they're going to be investing money in their teams next season. Spartans are always going to be there. It's going to be a good season next year, and BSC will do well to keep Swifty at the helm for it.
I think the other thing, we've kind of concentrated on BSC in the aftermath of this. I don't think Kilby will mind too much the fact that they dropped this one in the end.
No.
There'll be a wee bit of a niggle there, obviously. They've kind of given it away right at the death, but their focus is very much now on Cove Rangers, who have just clinched the Highland League. And we had the chat with Malcolm, didn't we, at the end of the game where they actually won the league against Spartans, and he expected a wee drop off.
Yep.
So I don't think that he'll mind too much, as long as they're fully prepared and fully ready for those 2 playoff games, and then moving on, fingers crossed, to the League 2 side of things.
Absolutely.
And we were obviously talking about Spartans midweek there in the fight for top 4. We'll move on to Cumbernauld Colts, Civil Service Strollers. Cumbernauld Colts won this 3-0. I think it was more of one of the shocks results. I think last week, Mozza, we couldn't really predict a lot of these, and so proved with a lot of the results this weekend. But what a showing from Cumbernauld Colts in the last home game, and it was obviously Strollers' last league game, so probably a huge disappointment. Now they'll have to obviously wait and see what Spartans do in the fight for top 4. 17 minutes in, Craig Holmes converts from the spot following Sean Brown after Sean Brown is brought down in the box. 63 minutes, it was deja vu. Craig Holmes converts again from the spot. Sean Brown again brought down in the box. And 66 minutes, Sean Brown marks his return from injury with a goal. Craig Henderson with the assist. I think I said to Fraser Teeman when I was speaking to him that I think Sean Brown, obviously a huge player for Colts. They had been missing him. He's back in the team, and basically, well, we could probably say he set up 2 goals there and scored one. What an effort from Colts. On the Strollers side, they're going to have to wait now to see what Spartans do in their final game to see if they clinch top 4. But taking nothing away from them, obviously, I think they'll be disappointed if they don't get top 4. But what a season. I think Gary Gary's had with the guys there. But again, probably a disappointing result given the circumstances.
Yeah, I think even if they do end up dropping down into 5th place, it's still been an excellent season for Civil, and I think they've definitely achieved a lot higher than they probably set out to at the beginning of the season. Spartans are at home next week against Cumbernauld as well, which Spartans are a very difficult team at home, so it doesn't bode too well for Civil there. But yeah, I think they'll be a bit frustrated that they've not taken any points for the last 3 games, and they could have essentially wrapped up their 4th spot.
Yeah, definitely. I think we do need to, in all fairness, give all credit to Cumbernauld on this instance, because we've not been shy in calling out the Colts on this pod, have we, in the last few weeks? I don't think so.
Nope.
There you go. Sean Brown's back. They're back on song, and help a couple of penalties. It's still a 3-0 win over one of the better teams in the league this year. So I think that's a bit of a declaration of intent from them, saying, right, let's get ready to go again next season, and kind of instead of dropping back down to mid-table side of things, let's see if we can get in the mix and get a bit more consistency. So aye, fair play. You just need to give full credit to them, and albeit obviously Strollers and Gary will no doubt be upset they could have sealed the deal there, it doesn't distract from what a fantastic campaign they've had.
Absolutely.
And
not.
regardless if the Spartans get 4th or not, you can be rest assured Civil will be delighted with the way this season's going.
And speak of the devil, obviously, myself and Shaun were at East Stirlingshire Spartans. Do you want to take us through the game, Shaun?
Absolutely, yeah. So myself and you went along to Falkirk Stadium. So it's quite a quiet game towards up until towards the end of the game, to be honest. But there was some decent early chances for Spartans. Steve McDonald was able to win the ball, and he was able to square it to Scott Maxwell. Unfortunately, didn't find the target. Shortly after that, a shot from Steve McDonald was saved again by Spartans, but they continued to put the pressure on Shire. There was a free kick for a foul on Liam Allison. Jamie Gallagher managed to get it up and over the wall, but he went straight to the keeper, kept it 0-0. That was after about 20 minutes. Gary Senarazzo I think he played brilliant during the game, and he played quite a big part, and he was able to whip a cross in quite early on to Jamie Dishington. He just wasn't able to leap high enough to head it home. We've got by the Spartans Twitter guy that was a bit of a crude challenge on Gary at the touchline. I know the Shire fan didn't quite agree with that. I think for a big guy he shouldn't have gone down so softly, and he made his opinion hard.
I think he called Gary Chen a cheat and a dive a lot of the time he had the ball. So
yeah, I think that happened around the 30-minute mark, and the remaining 60 minutes were pretty much focused on how he was a cheat and a dive until he lost his voice towards the end.
It's not like the Shire fan to make his voice heard, does it?
No. He did. He had a few quiet spells where he had to let his voice come back, but he wasn't happy about that challenge or the fact that it was a foul. It was half time. It was 0-0 between the two sides. There was Scott Gray took a knock, tried to play on for a while, but eventually David McGaughey had to come on and replace Scott Gray, who went off injured. There was then a chance again for the opener. It was Gary that crossed. His crossing was deflected, and it eventually found the feet of Blair Atkinson, but it went wide. Rogers came on shortly after that, and on the 72nd minute, it was Shire that took the lead from the spot. Corbett was adjudged to have handled the ball, and Rogers sent the kick right down the middle to make it 1-0 to Shire. 5-6 minutes later, there was a goal from Spartans, Blair Atkinson. The ball way up in the air, he managed to control it down and just slot it past the keeper to make it 1-1. In the remaining 10-15 minutes after that goal, Spartans did get a break or two, but the final few minutes were definitely dominated by Shire. They looked the more dangerous and created some really good chances, but they were unable to capitalise on them, which meant the game ended up finishing 1-1. A really, really good game between both sides. Definitely livened up in the last sort of 20-30 minutes as both teams tried to go for the win. But ultimately, share of the spoils, 1-1.
it was a competitive game. I think Shire had a few chances to win it, but I think fair result, obviously, for both teams, really. I probably disagree with the Shire fan. I don't think Spartans are pish or the worst team I've seen this season, but certainly, just a competitive game. I think Shire have done fantastically well. Obviously, they've only been beaten twice in 2019, one against Civil Service, a game that I was at, which really could have went either way. The 4-3 game and obviously the Bonnyrigg game in the Cup. But it's one of those games where I think I probably jinxed it last week, Derek, when I said it was either going to be a 1-1 or a 2-2. If I said it,
this is true.
If I said it was going to be another 4-3, I'm sure it probably would have been. But in fairness to Spartans, they were missing obviously Mikey Herd, who got sent off against Stirling Uni. They're missing the captain, who's always a big influence, and obviously Jack Smith injured. But there's a few guys in the Spartans team that I really like. Obviously Gary Chen being one of them. I think I've always kind of highly rated Stephen McDonald, who is a bit in and out of the team sometimes, depending on the way Doogie sees it. I think he was a wee bit disappointed to come off, actually, because he was doing a wee bit of damage. But Blair Atkinson, the likes of Jamie Dishington and that, they're all fantastic players, and obviously they've got a really good defence as well. They're kind of known for that. But they'll have to wait till next week to seal top 4. It would have been a great win to get it. And Shire going into next season, we do have a few interviews. Obviously yourself, Shaun, spoke to Blair Atkinson, who scored the equaliser for Spartans, so we'll have a wee listen to that.
So I'm joined by Blair Atkinson. Decent game today, 1-1, share of the spoils. It was yourself that caught the equaliser. Took a bit of composure, you could see, with the ball underneath your feet there. What was going through your mind?
It took a while to come over, basically, and my touch wasn't great the whole game, to be fair, but I just thought I could get a good touch on it and then just slide it past the goal. But nah, it was good.
Cumbernauld Colts beat Civil today 3-0 as well, which lines us up for an interesting weekend next weekend, where you guys are welcoming Cumbernauld Colts along to Ainsley Park. How important is that game?
Yeah, very important. It gives us another chance, basically, to finish as high as we can, and hopefully we can do that and try and get into the Edinburgh Cup next season. So it's a massive game, but it's a must win. So.
And overall, how have you found this season with the Spartans?
Good, boys are great. Everyone's together, and a couple tough results at the start of the season's kind of knocked us off a wee bit, but we've been playing well towards the end of the season and scoring goals and hardly conceding. So the boys are happy here, and I'm sure it'll be the same again next season. So
brilliant. Well, thanks for speaking to me, and good luck next week.
Perfect. Cheers.
Obviously, I want to thank Blair there for speaking to Shaun, and I did get a few words from Dale, the Shire gaffer, on not only the game but obviously going into next season. So we'll have a wee listen to that. Right, I'm with Dale, the Shire gaffer. Obviously, 1-1 draw with Spartans today. It looked towards the end that you could have obviously got the win. A wee bit disappointed that you never pulled out the win.
I think that obviously we went out with the intention of winning the game. I just felt first half we weren't. I didn't think we offered enough going forward. I thought Spartans had the better of the ball. Asked the boys at half time, just believe in their ability, the effort that we see at training, the ability that's on show. Saturday's when we go and showcase that. I just didn't think that we done that first half. Second half there was a big improvement, but that's probably testament to the boys that we weren't happy with the one each draw. It probably was a fair result on the whole, but we were looking to push at the end there, but you can get caught in the break as we've seen a million times. So you take the draw and you get on with the plan for next week.
The result of the game, obviously, Scott Gray had a bad challenge on him, and I think Andy Grant looked a wee bit.
Andy Grant's back tightened up a wee bit, and Scotty must have got knock on the fit. We'll assess them during the week, see how they are. Both of them have done really well this year, so ideally we would like them back fit for next week.
Yep.
But there's boys that will step up if required.
All in all, at the start of the new year, I think Shire are second in the form table. I think East Kilbride obviously first as champions, but great improvement obviously compared to when the hard job of when you came in. How are you finding it, obviously stepping up as the gaffer, coming as a player?
Life moves on. In terms of you just got to go on with it, and it's a situation that I didn't envisage being in. For most, it's a natural progression going from playing to management. Maybe not as quick as what we got. It wasn't in the scenario that me and Andy had planned, or John and Martin for that matter.
Yeah.
But it's an opportunity we couldn't have turned down. After we had time to think about what had happened. But look, we've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. I've got a good bunch of boys that they work hard. Their commitment and effort at training is excellent. They're a pleasure to work with. We found it hard at the start because we weren't getting results. We were finding it hard to play out in the stadium. We feel that we've got the boys are starting to play the way that we would like it, and they're buying into what we're asking. It doesn't always work, but that's where we're at the moment. I think since since the start of the year, I think we've been beat twice for civil service in the league and Bonnyrigg, and the civil service one could have went anyway.
I was at the game. I agree.
The same as what the first game against Civil could have went.
Agreed.
But Bonnyrigg game, in my opinion, Bonnyrigg deserved that victory because we just never turned up on the day. Bonnyrigg were better on the day. No questions asked. So it's 1 game in 4 months that they've not really turned up and played in. So there's got to be a credit to them there.
Agreed, mate. And going into next season, obviously the news of there's going to be an investment in the squad. How hard is it at this sort of league to keep a team together and obviously build a team to go out and obviously compete for?
Well, this is my first year, so I'll let you ken next year. No, look, I think that with any football club or with any group of any squad at any level of sport, if we sit with 20 players and the 20 players finish say 6th, we're going to need to fine tune that. It would be the same as if you finish second, you would be then looking to fine tune it to get to first. So that's where we're at. It's no, yes, there'll be new boys come in, but that's the same at every club throughout the full country. But there's boys there that there's still places to be played for. We firmly believe that there's boys and there's quality players in that changing room that can give us. We'll give them the platform to take us to where we want to be. But next year we will be competitive, hopefully, and we firmly believe that we'll be challenging where this club should be.
Agreed.
This club is a massive club that we aim to be back in league football, and that's where I want to be back. We've got to be ambitious. There's no point in just plodding along. There's other clubs that will be just as ambitious. I firmly believe that the Lowland League next year and the years to come will be one of the most competitive leagues. Since we came in to the league 3 years ago,
3 years.
The progression of the teams and the standard has improved dramatically year in, year out. So next year will be no different. It'll be a very, very difficult league, and there's no gimmies, absolutely no gimmies in the league.
And just the final thing is the player awards tonight,
Yes, Player of the Year awards.
I just hope you win the goal of the year. I voted for you, mate. So.
That's great. My wife didn't even vote for me. I don't know how. Nah, look,
I think the two ones that you scored that I remembered anyway were absolute crackers. So.
Yeah, I turn in, I'll be honest, anybody that has seen the goals, one was a right fit, kind of a airhead, whatever you want to call it. There's no danger I've ever planned or meant a airhead kick with my right foot in my life, so we can say that it was just putting it in a good area. The corner though, that night was very, down at Annan's it was a windy place.
Yeah.
So it was very much wind assisted, but that's 100%. It was you're never going to aim to try and score for a corner, but you're just trying to put it in a good area, and that was. I knew that with that kind of wind, if you aim there and put it there, the goalie was struggling.
Yeah.
But there's a chance it can go directly in. It did. So.
Oh well, good luck anyway, and have a good night tonight, pal. Nice meeting you.
Right,
cheers, pal.
And obviously just want to thank Dale. I had a really decent chat with him. Got a few minutes afterwards as well, obviously just talking about the league and stuff. So no, I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to be back at Falkirk Stadium next season. I don't think they've ever disappointed me when I've been there. It would have been a brilliant if it was a 4-3, but you know, you can't get them all away. Derek, you got any thoughts on the game? Or
you've covered most stuff, but basically it kind of went how we wanted it to go. Not wanted it, how we predicted it to go, I should say. A bit of a ding-dong battle between two sides that are perhaps more similar than the league table suggests. Shire, obviously, it took a while to find their feet with the managerial change and so on, but the way Dale and Andy have had those guys playing recently, if they'd been doing that all season, they'd be right up in the top 4 conversation. So, yeah, I don't really have much else to add other than I'm very, very interested to see the business Shire do in the summer in terms of changing our squad around, especially now that they've made it clear that they've got a wee bit of money into the club and they're looking to basically kind of up the ante coming into the new campaign.
Yep, agreed. We'll move on to Gala Ferradine Rovers at Dalbeattie Star. Obviously, Netherdale, Gala won 3-2. It was Pat Scullion who got Gala off to a flyer in 7 minutes. Rory Payton got a second just before half time, but Lewis Todd got Dalbeattie Star back into it just before half time on the 45th minute. It was Corey Thompson that got Dalbeattie the equaliser on the 70th minute, but Rory Payton, 76th minute, gets Gala the win there. We always kind of knew that the Netherdale was obviously a hard place to go for any team. Dalbeattie Star, obviously, the 4-game unbeaten run comes to an end, but in all honesty, again, another competitive game. Both teams sort of looked up for it. Again, I'm not 100% sure if it could have went either way, but it certainly sounds like it could have, given the scoreline there.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that Gala basically had to keep getting their nose in front tells you a lot. Dalbeattie have been great recently. You just can't say anything bad about the run they've been on. They've clearly pulled together and given it a right go to try and get out of that 14 spot. They are now consigned to that spot, so they'll officially be tuning on East Kilbride, I guess, in the playoffs to make sure Cove don't go up. Otherwise they might find themselves heading back down to the tier below. But yeah, I think you just need to give credit here to Gala Ferradine, because it looked a kind of tough game. Obviously the teams at Star have taken points off recently have all been very good sides, Kelty, BSC and Spartans and the like, but Rovers have done the job. They've once again had a very comfortable mid-table finish in the league. They've got one game left to see if they can leapfrog anyone else at Edge Sports, the team that are sitting just above them. And yeah, they're kind of king of the borders again, I suppose, is the easiest way to put it.
No, absolutely, and I think the fact that they were up by 2, it went to 2-2, the fact that they've managed to knuckle down and get that third goal shortly after Dalbeattie have equalised. Credit to them, because I'm sure any team's head's going to go down a little bit after you kind of squander away a 2-0 lead, so they've done well to do the business there and make sure they went away with the 3 points.
Absolutely, and obviously another shout out to Rory Payton, who's came out on loan from Hibs there, and obviously Paddy Martin in goals as well. We've seen a lot of sort of loan loan players coming into the Lowland League this season that have done, fantastic. Obviously, the likes of Josh Donaldson at Civil. I don't want to name drop too many people because I'll end up forgetting. But the likes of Cammy Russell at East Kilbride. I think they've had a really good time in the Lowland League this season, and depending on what happens next season, I'm sure Gala would love the two guys back for next season. But a massive shout out to Dean Shanks. I think he's doing a fantastic job there. I think it's a wee bit underrated considering their league position, but he's done a really great job this season with Gala. I think they could have probably done a wee bit better in the league, but they had their cup run and stuff as well. So it is what it is. Sometimes it's kind of similar with the University of Stirling, who we'll get into next. But him and the likes of Chris Geddes, I think have done a fantastic job.
Yeah, and Gala have got previous for bringing guys on loan and helping them develop. You just look at Jamie Gullen, that was there last time round, and he's taken a step forward. Now, basically seen as an established player in kind of higher levels. So that can only be a good thing for a club of that stature in Gala. It's not always easiest to recruit guys down to the border region, but the fact that they've shown that they can help develop young players is going to make bigger sides look down. I think we'd quite like to send good talent down there and see what happens.
So moving on to University of Stirling, Gretna, both teams coming off pretty decent results last week. Mozza, it wasn't until the last 15 that the game sort of livened up. A pigeon joined the midfield battle. I don't know who for, if it was for University of Stirling or Gretna, but 75th minute, at the back as the ball slips through Walker's hands, Gretna fire home to take the lead. It was the man, Kevin Connolly again, giving Gretna the lead there. 85 minutes, Blair Lyons does well in the box squares, and Baird fires home to equalise. But 3 minutes later, Stirling pressing for the winner, lose the ball, and Gretna break and have the ball in the net through Dean Watson. Again, it was probably another frustrating one for Uni. I heard lots of chances, just not taken well. Jim Atkinson, the Gretna goalkeeper, had a really decent game. Again, it was just a mistake at the back and a breakaway goal that cost Stirling Uni. But massive credit to Gretna. I think last week we weren't really sure who would take this. I think we gave the nod a wee bit to University of Stirling, but again, Gretna doing what Gretna do. They could come up with results sometimes that you don't expect them to, but fantastic away win. But that's taken nothing away from the University of Stirling, who have done, again, as we mentioned, Chris Geddes and Blair Lyons obviously winning their top scorer of the season and their player of the year. He's obviously moving on to Montrose next season, and as I've mentioned, I'm a bit gutted he's going to be moving on because he's a fantastic player at this level and in the Lowland League. But again, it's one of those ones where you give credit to, I think, both teams, but obviously Gretna a wee bit more so having got the win there.
Yeah, to be fair, Gretna's been one of those teams that have finished the season absolutely brilliantly. So you need to give credit to the outgoing Sharon for that. They're quite openly advertising for their new manager, so it's clearly not. Well, I say it's clearly not going to be him. Who knows? But the Kevin Connolly hitting form again obviously is giving them a wee bit of a leg up. It's no coincidence that he's hit the goal trail again and they've got points on the board. But you can see for the Stirling Uni Twitter the frustration that came through. They put a tweet out just saying loads of chances not taken, and then they've made a mistake at the back and a breakaway goal. So they're obviously feeling it, the way things have gone this time round, and they'll be looking to kind of get those wee instances cleaned up over the summertime with the new intake and such like. But one of these, it could have gone any way. That game we were struggling to pick, so fair play to Gretna, travelling all the way up the road, getting the result and going back, and no doubt being delighted with their day's work.
No, absolutely. It's it's good to see Kevin Connolly's name coming up a lot, and I definitely agree that I don't think it's any coincidence that Gretna are finishing the season strong. I agree as well that Blair is going to be a huge miss next year for the league alone, let alone the gap that it's going to leave in Stirling Uni. they're going to have to fill that void next year, so it's a big job for them there. I suppose one of the good things, it was a nice close game between these two teams, and they meet again in 2 weeks' time in the Lowland League Cup, so University of Stirling will have a wee bit of a chance at revenge in a couple of weeks, which will be good.
Yeah, agreed, and probably the result of the weekend, given the circumstances, but Vale of Leven got beat 6-0 off at Edinburgh Uni. Edinburgh Uni have had a few issues with form lately. They've not really had the best form, but in the hour, into the hour mark, obviously Greg Swan, who I don't think we've ever mentioned in this podcast, Derek, but he opened got the opener for them in the 66th minute. 2 minutes later, he gets his second. Aidan Kemp in the 75th minute. Max Conde on the 77th minute. Santi Kovalainen on the 83rd, and Greg Swan for his hat-trick on the 92nd to make it 6-0 Edinburgh Uni. I don't think anyone saw this result coming, to be honest. Vale have kind of been in and out of form. They've picked up a fair decent results in the last few months, if you will, but Edinburgh Uni just came out of nowhere really, and massive credit to Dorian and the lads there, because that's just again the results a wee bit of a shocker, but it just shows that I think we've mentioned it before, but any team on their day can beat any of the teams, and that's what makes the league exciting. A lot of people say, I don't think it's not really a lack of quality, it's the fact that there is a lot of quality in a lot of the squads in this league.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to sum this game up is that's a stunner of a result, isn't it? Just nobody could have predicted that at all. Even with Vale coming off the defeat midweek, Edinburgh Uni winning 6-0 is just something else. I think you're probably right. I don't think Greg's names came up. Generally, when we talk about Edinburgh Uni, it's been Abdul Yusuf that we've mentioned, or Santi Kovalainen's came up before, a couple other guys, but great day for Greg. Great day for Uni, full stop. That's 6 goals in 25 minutes at the end of the game. So it sounds like they've got the first couple through Greg, and then Vale seem to have just folded after that. But fair play for keeping the foot down, going for the jugular, and getting a brilliant result ultimately. So yeah, I think you just need to give full credit to Edinburgh Uni.
No, absolutely. I'm sure that's it's a huge impact for this time of the season for Edinburgh Uni to be able to go out and do that. Vale must be absolutely kicking herself after being Cumbernauld Colts 5-0 last week to those two games midweek and at the weekend. Certainly there's something they're going to have to look at when the season ends as they prepare for next year, because they need to be able to score goals against teams, and it's something they failed to do too many occasions this year.
Yep, and to our final game of the weekend, it was Whitehill Welfare versus Edinsport Academy. Edinsport won 1-0 with a Matty Flynn goal in the 53rd minute. It seemed quite a competitive affair from what I've read. Obviously, there was a sending off. Ryan Finney got sent off. You'll probably notice on Twitter that Kev Keane he might have said something to Kev Keane, which was less than sportsmanlike, obviously, but it's a football game. Sometimes things are said, and it's what it is. Basically, you guys can obviously search that for yourself. But in fairness to Whitehill, I think it was a competitive game. From what I heard, I don't think they had loads of chances. It was just obviously kind of maybe just end the season fair. And obviously the good point for Edinsport is obviously not only have they got the win, but there was a lot of the academy lads in the squad. But I think it would have been disappointing, because I think that's their home game. I think they would have wanted to go out with a wee bit of sort of pride, given the season they've had. But it's looking more likely that we're going to have to just wait and see what happens with them in East of Scotland, which is going to be another tough league next season. We'll just have to wait and see if they can sort of do anything in East of Scotland and bounce back to hopefully get in the Lowland League the following season.
Yeah, I think they've only had the one win this season, Whitehill, so when you look at it from that perspective, to only lose 1-0, especially with their fate already sealed, it shows that they've had a bit of fight. It would have been quite quite easy for them to have gone out with their heads down and gotten beat by 3 or 4 goals in this game. So, credit to Edinsport for going out and winning this one, but well done to Whitehill as well for not just lying down, if you like, but for putting up a bit of a fight.
Yeah, and it's no coincidence that Matty Flynn's a guy getting on the score sheet again for Edinsport. He's had a cracking campaign for them. Really decent player at this level. This is when we're going through these teams that people might not initially pick out as, say, the bigger sides in the league, but there's still excellent talent at every single squad. But yeah, Edinsport again are another team that have set their sights higher for next time round. It's good to see the academy boys getting a chance and hopefully trying to push into the squad for next time, the next campaign. But Whitehill at this point, it's going to be difficult for them, given, as Shaun said, they've had the one win all season in league business. They're going down to a league in the East of Scotland Premier where all those sides are flying, because it means that they've all been top 5 or 6th. There's the kind of best place, 6th place in the conferences gets up. But they'll all have came off a fantastic seasons, and it's just they need to hit the ground running, otherwise it could be the same story all over again. And they'll no doubt be fully aware of that, and they'll do everything in their power to get moving as quick as possible.
Absolutely. And on that note, obviously we'll get into Ken's fixtures. It was we'll start with BSC Glasgow versus East Stirlingshire at the end of the draw. Obviously, I don't think I'll make too many predictions on these games given how this weekend's gone, but it's going to be a tough contest, I think, with BSC Glasgow and East Stirlingshire. But BSC obviously back to winning ways. They'll probably expect another 3 points to go out to cap off a fantastic season.
Yeah, I mean, we need to put the caveat on any predictions this weekend that there's likely a lot of academy boys and young boys going to get run-outs for their respective clubs, given it's last week of the campaign. It's a tough one for this. Shire have obviously been going great guns. BSC having kind of seen the end to the unbeaten run, bouncing straight back with a great result at the weekend there. I'd maybe just very, very kind of gently side for BSC purely because of home advantage.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think BSC will, though. Even though you're right, there isn't as much to play for at this point in the season. I think BSC will still want to finish the season the right way and go out as they've gone on throughout the season. So I'd give them edge, especially with the home advantage. Dalbeattie
Star versus Vale of Leven, all up in the air again, I think, but anyone's guess. I'd probably give the edge to Dalbeattie, just the fact that it's Islecroft, but again, it's anyone's guess who's gonna win that one, I think.
I'd agree with that. Just with the results Dalbeattie have just came off, and even though they lost at the weekend, it was hardly a done deal, was it? It was 3-2, so they were right in it to the very end, and it's just Rory Payton's kind of brilliance on the days kind of taking the points away. Vale coming off a couple of sore results. I fancy Dalbeattie to do the business though.
Yeah, I think this will be a bit of a pride game for the end of the season. It's the two teams sitting relatively close, maybe not in points but in position in the league. Vale will be frustrated after those 2 wins, so do you know what, I think they'll want to go out and do something. But yeah, Dalbeattie's form's been pretty solid over the last month and a half, so I think it could go anyway as well.
Edinburgh University versus Whitehill Welfare. Obviously Whitehill Welfare's last league game in the league until hopefully they bounce back from the East of Scotland, but I think Greg Swan Hattrick there maybe.
No pressure, Greg.
No, in all honesty, again, I think the 6-0 against Vale Leaving at the weekend there came as a bit of a shock. So, but a huge momentum for Edinburgh Uni coming off a really, really tough spell. I think they'll go out in there East Peffermill with confidence, and hopefully they can get a home win to finish off the season.
Yeah, I think I'd love to see Whitehill go out and win this one in their last game, but I think it's going to be a tough one for them, and with Edinburgh Uni playing at home and the momentum they've got, I think it'll be, it's definitely going to be a challenging one, but I would really like to see Whitehill go out and steal a win in their last game.
Yep, don't really have much to add other than the fact that Dorian again has done a great job with them this year.
Yep.
If they get a win, they basically win the mini battle with Stirling Uni, don't they? So I think a point would be enough for them just to keep their noses ahead of Uni or Stirling. But either way, I'd expect Edinburgh Uni to take something from that game.
And speaking of University of Stirling, Edinsport Academy versus University of Stirling at Galabank. I think they've kind of done not too bad recently, Edinsport. They've kind of been under the radar a wee bit, given the fact it's towards the end of the season, but they've been in a lot of the cup competitions, a wee bit of momentum there for the likes of Edinsport to do well. Obviously frustrating sometimes with University of Stirling, but given that it's at Galabank, I'll probably go with Edinsport to end the season off there on a high with a win, I think.
Again, this is a game that I could see quite a lot of young boys playing in. Edinsport already, the last game, played a lot of academy boys. University of Stirling, given they've had so many games, given it's not just the Lowland they play in, it's also the University League as well, a lot of their first team playing. I'd expect a fair bit of rotation from both sides, and God knows what that one will end up.
Yeah, I'd agree, especially with this game and the next one between Gretna and Gala. I think both of those could go anyway, and I reckon there'll be a lot of young boys that'll go in both of them. It'll be interesting to see how they do finish.
And as you mentioned it, Shaun, Gretna 2008 versus Gala Ferradine Rovers at Raydale Park. Kev Connolly versus Rory Payton, I would say. Again, I think we both like Gretna, and we both like Gala as well, Derek. So I'll just say I would put myself down for a draw with this one. Score draw, yeah.
You know what? Score draw. There you go.
Kelly Hearts versus East Kilbride, last league game at New Central Park, obviously for Kelty, who have capped off a brilliant season just coming into the league, obviously third secured against the champions, who obviously coming off that sort of last minute loss to to BSC. I think you're right, Muzz. I think there might be a wee bit of rotation before the playoffs. Obviously that's what East Kilbride will be focused on, but they did beat Kelty 4-0 obviously at the K Park, so I think it's going to be another sort of tight competitive game. I'm sure Kelty would obviously want to go out and try and get the win, a wee bit of revenge to finish the season off in the league.
Do you know, it wouldn't surprise me if Stuart Malcolm sat down after the game at the weekend and went, do you know what, I'm putting my best team out for this one to get the momentum back ahead of the Cove Rangers doubleheader, because you wouldn't want to go into the playoffs in the back of 2 losses. And obviously you want to have your guys kind of sharp and ready, so I'd strongly expect East Kilbride to put out a very, very strong 11, if not their best 11 for that one. Whether Kelty do that or give a few of the young lads a chance to come through, I know they've done it generally during the season anyway, we'll wait and see, but I'd expect a very strong kill be shown in that one.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Kelty will, after that 4-0 win, they'll want to prove a point in this game as well. So as far as league position goes, there's obviously nothing to play for at this point, but I think it's still going to be a very heated and competitive game. Kelty aren't used to losing games 4-0 as well, so they'll not want to go out and they'll not want to see a repeat of that this weekend. And I think East Kilbride will want a bit of momentum ahead of Cove. Yeah,
agreed. And to our final game, probably one of the few games that there's actually something to play for. Obviously, Spartans versus Cumbernauld Colts at Ainsley Park. Spartans, if they win it, they obviously leapfrog civil service to that 4th spot, and I'm pretty sure that's what they'll be aiming for. I think they'll be frustrated the last sort of 2 games, but Colts, they spoiled the party a wee bit for the Strollers in their last game, so I think they'll be going out to do something similar to Spartans. But again, as I always say, I always go with Spartans at Ainsley Park, so I'm going to go with Spartans.
Colts have got a bit of momentum as well, and they've managed to pull themselves level on points with Stirlingshire, who are 6th. And I know, there isn't any cup competitions to get into with a 6th place finish, but East Stirlingshire are travelling to BSC. Cumbernauld Colts could, on the final day, they could move up into 6th, which will be a strong finish for them. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Colts have finished 6th or higher in every one of their seasons in the Lowland League, so they'll not want to essentially have that drop in momentum. I think they'll be looking to finish 6th, so I think both teams have got a little bit of something to fight for in that game. And like you say, I think it's the only one that there's really something to play for. So I think that's going to be a really, really good game.
I'd agree with you. I think that they'll be very, very keen to finish sixth. Spartans obviously want the top 4 spot. If the Iron Brew Cup stays the same way, it means that they get a chance to get into it. Any extra money in the coffers is a good thing, but Colts will probably fancy their chances after that game the weekend there, doing a bit of an Edinburgh double. But it's going to be a tough ask going to Ainsley Park and beating them. It's too hard to call for me in that one. I'd maybe very, very gently side on Spartans, but I could be anything yet again.
That was the penultimate weekend of the Lowland League. We're obviously into the last weekend of the Lowland League in terms of the league, and then we move on to the likes of the League Cup, the playoffs with East Kilbride, and obviously there is a few sort of cup finals as well. So what a season we've had, lads. I think it's been great covering the league. Obviously I've seen I've seen actually every team this season, so it's just been a pleasure covering the league. Obviously we're going to be going to our final one next week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a cracking season. It's nothing short of what we predicted though. We thought that it was going to be more competitive at the top end, and kind of basically throughout the league. I think it's proven over time that we've taken a step forward and it's gone up a level, and I expect the same thing to happen again next season. Like just before we finish up, we should probably look at below as well, the tier below, given that we had a wee focus on it a few weeks back about who could be joining us for the next campaign. South of Scotland's now finished because reserves have won it, so we can chalk that one off. They're not got a licence and they're not going to have a licence, so it's all eyes on East of Scotland from this point on, of which Bonnyrigg have already sealed their playoff spot. Broxburn are very, very close to getting theirs. They just need to win their last game of the season, otherwise Linlithgow Rose could pip them to it. And in Conference A, it's looking like Pennycook. All they need is, well, basically 1-1 seals the deal for them as well. So Hillaby still nipping at their heels, but I think the likelihood would be Pennycook, Bonnyrigg, and, well, I guess Conference C is the only doubtful one, but Broxburn are looking like they're going to grab it.
Yeah, I think Pennycook are actually, well, they're playing at the moment at the time of recording, they're 3-0 up against Tweedmouth in the 75th minute as we're recording this. So yeah, I think the Cookie have obviously just probably sealed Conference A there.
Yeah, I think all 5 of those teams that you mentioned there, with Hawes and Linlithgow in there as well, any of those would be cracking additions to the Lowland League next year. We've talked about how good this season has been, but I think next season is only going to be better, and the quality just seems to be improving and improving. I think they're giving even some of the leagues above them a bit of a run for their money.
Definitely. We've seen that with the South of Scotland Cup this season as well. A lot of the sides, including Camelin, doing really well from East of Scotland. So it's getting better and better and more competitive with every year that goes by. And fingers crossed it'll keep going for strength to strength.
And absolutely, and I think we have to, in fairness to Bowness United, they did obviously beat Bonnyrigg, ending their unbeaten run yesterday as well. So it just shows pretty similar to the Lowland League. I think on in any day, depending on who's up for it, I think there can be a few results here and there that people probably didn't predict.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, we'll move on to plugs. I'll let you go first, Derek.
Yeah, as usual, at Mozzaplays on Twitter and wherever else you'll find me. You'll generally find under Mozza. On you go, Shaun.
Well, I'm on Twitter as well. It's at Sped and Shaun, and I do the Facebook page for the Lowland League Facebook page as well, so you can find us on there.
Cool, and I'm at RampantFM on Twitter, and you can find the official Catchup at official Catchup on Twitter also. So yeah, I think the sport's been incredible this season. Obviously, I mentioned the fact that I spoke to Dell, and again, positive feedback, great support of the podcast from a lot of the lads and the players and the fans and just everyone. And we obviously want to thank the league for their support, as well as George Fraser. And we'll be back next week for the last few league games of the season. It's been incredible covering the league this season, and we'll move on obviously to the likes of the cup competitions, the playoffs, as well as the League Cup also. So yeah, until next week, We will see you later.
Catch you later.